Oh, well, alright. We got 3 packages. And I've got a bunch of other stuff, but let's just get these open first. Because this pile is really awkward. We'll begin with the Right Stuff package, which should contain Semicolon Volume 2. I can't think of the name, and I can't get my finger underneath the, Alright, there we go. There's that box down here. Thing with the dress over here. And I'm doing this right now because yesterday UPS delivered this week's stuff in a place where I couldn't get it by the time I checked. You're not supposed to deliver it there, but can't do much about it now. And then I put off recording till tonight because something else got delivered today, which would actually technically be that. But that's all of the anime. Let's take care of Christmas stuff first. To begin with, a couple of non-things. Obviously, there's a puzzle there, and there's actually this really interesting children's book based on the X-Files. It's not completely faithful conceptually to the X-Files. You know, X-Files is basically Mulder's a hypergenius who's always right, but Scully is kind of the person that grounds him in reality and double-checks both the audience assumptions, asks him the questions, and looks for stuff that can actually be called proof as opposed to Mulder's stuff. And this plays, you know, simpler because it's a kid's story, but that's a very amusing and neat concept. Let's do these in this order. My friend gave me a bunch of non-anime stuff. You know, it's stuff that's good to have. I mean, I saw Saving Private Ryan in theaters, but not since. I think all 3 of these are based. They're on different books of the same series. So Demons were just the beginning. Demons, the Davinci Code, I don't know. I've not seen any of those, so that's good. Apollo 13 is a classic. I've seen that one. I think I saw that one in theaters. The Black Cauldron, though, I've never seen, and it's pretty infamous, so it should be good to see. Maybe this one's kind of infamous, but not like bad movie infamous, just, you know, about an infamous thing. I guess I'm not exactly sure what that is, and hey, infamous movie, which should be good to revisit, because we had a VHS copy at the family home, and it was subtitled in Spanish. But because I knew ever so slightly enough Spanish, whenever I would try to watch it, I couldn't hear what the characters were saying because I kept trying to interpret it as Spanish, but it was just gobbledygook. I don't know. Anyways, Cosmos, Carl Sagan version. This is probably one of the bigger things to have here. I have the Neil deGrasse Tyson version, but Carl Sagan was the original one, and now I have both. And then last but not least, Star Trek Voyager Complete Collection. This is seasons 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and then season 7. That's pretty damn cool, because it means like now I have original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. But let's go anime. So here we have Disastrous Life of Saiki K, season 1, parts 1 and 2. Both come with Funimation digital copies. I don't know. Let's just look at one at a time. He's not psyched about anything. Okay, it's got my attention. Also, let's see. English dubbed, region A. I guess it's Funimation, so the chance that it's not dubbed goes down. But it's not impossible. Like, I think there's something coming out next month. Maybe not next. Maybe it is next week. Time Travel Girl? I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. Let's do fish the digital copy out like that. There really shouldn't be flashing those. So the blues are blue and the reds are red. 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 That's part 1. He's not psyched about anything. He's not psyched about anything. It's like deja vu all over again. I guess we should double check. I mean, obviously, this should be the same. It's Region A, it's English dubbed. Let's see, I guess I'm doing it this way. Now just fishing this out. Whatever. Blu-ray. Blu-ray. DVD. DVD. Trying to think if I should say if he's the same character as the other one or not, but honestly, I'm just waiting for mold to go down. We got Yowamushi Pedal the movie, the Blu-ray DVD combo pack. Racing to the Future. Region A. That looks like a bunch of Japanese audios, which I think is consistent with the other releases. I mean, when Discotheque or Eastern Star or whatever brings stuff over, they tend to not redub. I say tend, but I'm wondering if maybe I have seen something, but I don't know. I'm just trying to continue breathing air. Technically, that's not the problem. The main issue is just that my face feels pain, constant pain, like I think my sinuses are giving up on the fight and saying, fuck this. Constant pain. Let's see, over here we have DVD and over here we have Blu-ray. And I know it's a guy on a bike. I just can't figure out the geometry from that weird angle with this runny nose. Which I guess isn't technically runny. Anyways, Barefoot Gen animated movies 1 and 2. I think there was a DVD release of this as well, but since I have the old DVD releases, okay, as you can see under audio, we've got English and Japanese audio, which I think makes sense, even though it was, I think, blurry. There's an A. And I really should watch this. This is like Grave of the Fireflies and this, I think, are highly notable World War II from Japan's citizen perspectives. While Grave of the Fireflies deals with a couple of kids that deal with the firebombing stuff that happened, Barefoot Gen, I think, is more about, you know, dealing with the fallout from the atomic blasts on the, I don't remember which of the cities. Hiroshima, it says so right there. Oh, for fuck's sake. If only I could focus. And here we go. Animated movies 1 and 2 on one disc. Which is probably about right. Is that a giant shoe? Why can't I process what I'm even looking at? Oh look, there's also something there. Oh, that's not a giant shoe, that's a giant boy. Oh. Stunfuff. Next up we have Lupin the Third, Part 2, Episodes 41 through 79, Collection 2. Okay, this is Lupin the Third. Okay, this is Lupin the Third, Part 2, Collection 2. So I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, I can't remember, I got the first collection of Lupin the Third, Part 2, which maybe had most of, if not all of the episodes that had been previously released before, but it seemed to me that this went way beyond what was there. We see some English and Japanese audio. But this just makes sure, oh for fuck's sake, I keep forgetting about this. This should make sure that I'm completely having all the Lupin the Third stuff that I should be having. And one of these days I'll actually figure it all out, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. I've been putting off even my own major projects, and next week I go back to work, so yeah, it wasn't a wasteful vacation by any stretch. Jesus. 75. How many episodes should this... 79. Oh, there we go. So there's a missing disc. And that's because it was flapping around. Oh, of course. It was on top of disc 6. 79. Okay, there we go. Unfortunately, I'm not going to watch it because I haven't seen Lupin the First and Lupin the Second yet. I am, of course, just being silly. And then Occultic 9, you know, one of the semicolon series which has Cultic semicolon 9, like Steins Gate or Chaos Head or Robotic Notes or My Semicolon Head, which is actually not a part of the semicolon universe. It's just a reaction to mold. Anyways, I guess the first thing we do is we fail to get all this stuff out. Then we take this off and take a look at the full artwork. You know, just because we have to see people's legs, I guess. There's a 2. There's a 2. And you may think that that actually describes me. A 2, but actually I haven't been sneezing a lot. Just sniffling and coughing up disgustingly something or the other. Hey, it's a special booklet. Looks special. And I think we don't need to look at that questionnaire. We do have postcards. This one being actually a really neat one. Site 12. So either there's going to be 12 of them in there or 6 of them and the first 6 are in the other. So there's a key and a gun. Why is there a key and a gun? I don't know. 2. I should see how long this series is. If I have all of it, I could probably watch it. I might not. It's been a weird week for some reason. And I'm probably going all over the place. So let's just say here's this week's anime DVD collection update. So I think I abandoned, what was I watching? Taboo Tattoo. It was going into the history of a character that, while neat, I didn't care about. And like I said, the show just kind of felt like it was setting things up to be a certain way, but not having them interact correctly, I guess. So I ended up going with my instinct of watching March Comes In Like a Lion, which I didn't watch March Comes In Like a Lion so much as I watched the first volume, which I think is the first half of it. And it's actually kind of nice. I think I mentioned having problems with Honey and Clover before, and I think problems like that tend to be about, Honey and Clover is kind of about a romantic endeavor, I guess. And that one requires me to, you know, care about it, I guess, and sometimes it's really easy for a series to do something that makes me not care about something like that. And March Comes In Like a Lion is instead not like that. Instead of getting gummed down by stuff like that, they have a main character who's interesting. He's got an interesting problem, an interesting way of approaching the world because of that problem, and interesting capabilities, and you know, that's main character. And then you have the family, which of course with the sleeve on you can't see the little girl, but they're a very heartwarming sort of situation, sort of setup. That's kind of a good setup contrast between the stuff. I think my favorite scene was probably the interaction of the I guess I don't want to say it in case you haven't watched it yet, but let's just say it was him and another person that you didn't know what they were going to be like when they interacted. I also have to say his best friend, I guess, his kind of rival, he's actually been a fun character. It's a little worrisome watching how he acts and thinking how you can't do that in the States, but he's got some amusing charisma to him that you don't think is actually there because of the way he acts with main character. Like, he seems like he's just an oblivious idiot, but then he's this charming Superman kind of person when he's interacting with other people, which is kind of interesting. I don't think too much about it. It's hard to think, but overall it's interesting to see where they're trying to go with it, because they're developing certain things, certain problems, certain ideas. His stepsister is a rotten bitch. And I can't help but think that it's intending for you to think of her that way, so it may do interesting things with that. But overall, I guess the only disappointing thing about it was only like the first volume or the first half or something like that. I'll put this over here. Next up, I watched the OVA, the Redial OVA for the Future Diary, which is important because I think there's one OVA that might be a kind of recap of the series, but then Redial goes into more detail about what happened at the end of the series so that you can understand it a little bit better. Or maybe a lot better. And it's very interesting because I wouldn't have thought that it was that needed. And I have hiccups, obviously. I wouldn't have thought that it was that needed, but at the same time, it blew a couple of my interpretations out of the water, which is very interesting. So, you know, I think that means getting this version of it, even though I purchased it before, is worth it. And then, last but not least, I watched the Koyomi Monogatari, and fucking assholes. I don't want to go into detail in case you haven't seen it, but you'll probably think that because you feel like you have a good handle for it, but the people who make these, they just have a really solid grasp on the narrative flow. It's like they lead you where they want you to go. My friend who I've been watching it with, who's been surprisingly good at guessing a lot of twists, he keeps not being able to guess anything this series does because it plays with your mind in a very elaborate way. And it's just fun, and it was fun going back to certain characters that I'm not sure if going back is the right word, but just the way some of the characters are visited is in ways that the series can't really do anymore. So it was really interesting to see some of that. But I can't really elaborate too much on it because it's a collection of random stories, but some of it has to do with stuff that is definitely relevant to Owari Monogatari Season 2, which I guess now I'm going to be waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray DVD. Sorry, not DVD, but Blu-ray, because all this has been Blu-ray. But at the same time, I saw that there's Zoku Owari Monogatari announced for next year, so this isn't going to end, is it? This thing is going to be over 100 episodes if it isn't already, and it's going to be some really fucking high quality 100 episodes. I really ought to watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes because that one's supposed to be really good, high quality, and I think it's got some length to it, but I don't know about it. This would have been on the things I watched, but I guess I didn't get around to it. My friend I was going to possibly watch it with, something else happened and I can't remember what. But we ended up not watching it. I think because it just got too late at night. So maybe we'll watch it Friday. I don't know. My sinuses just hurt too much. Ow, ow. No, instead, outside of that, I've been mostly in a zombie mode, probably partially because of mold. Yeah. And so that means, oh no, there's also that as well. I mean, it's not exactly anime, but I guess it's anime related. I did play through Doki Doki Literature Club. Basically, my brother wanted me to do it, and he wanted me to do it in one sitting, and, you know, I understood what I was doing enough to, you know, do it in one sitting, basically, and it's very amusing. If you've not heard of it and you've not played it, if you like things that actually mess with your head and you've got enough tolerance to try visual novels sort of stuff, I suggest don't look up too much information about it because it's better if it catches you by surprise. You know, there is a surprise, but you might not know exactly what that is. So I suggest you play it and find out. It's entertaining. That said, I'm definitely sure I heard the name, maybe just because I saw people playing it on Steam or something like that, but it's fun. Oh, I could have totally watched the Neko Power OVA, couldn't I? Because I redeemed my Steam key for that. Oh well, I guess I haven't done that for here, so I'll be doing that. Maybe I'll just be waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray. I don't know. Because what I've been mostly spending my time doing is Pokemon projects and watching Star Trek Voyager. Because Voyager's really easy to have on in the background being consumed because it's not as narratively complex as Deep Space Nine, because there's a lot of interconnected information going on with Deep Space Nine. But Voyager is still the exploratory bunch of one-offs that kind of had threads here and there that are relevant. So it's really easy to have Voyager on in the background. I really love the crew. I mean, going back and watching it, there's still problems here and there, but I really like the crew. I'm trying to remember who it was that said that when Janeway and Chakotay are arguing, it's like when Mommy and Daddy are arguing. They're very fun to have in command of the ship. A lot of the people working for them are fun characters. Now that said, you know, I'm only through season 2, which means I did rewatch the episode where they break the transwarp barrier, and then Tom and Janeway have salamander babies on an alien planet, and it's actually not a bad episode. It's just a stupid episode, but it's a fun stupid episode. Not to be confused with Tuvix. I didn't really like the episode. I liked some of the ideas. I just didn't like the episode. It wasn't as uncomfortable as some of the others I watched, but I remembered not liking it before and why I didn't like it and why it's not like here. And I kind of realized that Kessa's species, well, the way they kind of described it, they kind of suggested that she was considering whether or not to have a baby, but they were also establishing that the puberty thing only happens once, and that was her chance to decide if she was going to have a baby, which is like, no, wait just a fucking second. They'd have to be able to make multiple babies, or else they wouldn't be able to produce enough offspring to maintain population size. They'd be having every generation. And yeah, there's something there that was either not thought about, they were just trying to make something interesting sounding, but didn't quite think it through, or they didn't explain something, and so I went to Memory Alpha to try to find out. It's a Star Trek fan site that's sometimes fun to read, and they are amusingly vague about it, as if, yeah, this isn't very ironed out. They all but say that it's kind of a buggy thing to put. They put some ideas in parentheses, one little idea in parentheses, but they crazy. But yeah, you know, that means I'm done with the second season. Third season I'm actually looking forward to, if only because I took a peek because I was kind of curious about rewatching the Macrovirus episode. It looks like it's the 12th episode of the third season, so I've still got a way to go, but if I continue watching the third season, I can see that. And while, what came out that's the stuff that came out this week. Maybe, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do watching-wise, because while I kind of want to be watching anime, I kind of feel too zombie-ish right now to think about it, because I really have to get that computer up and working again, and I have to start thinking about IkiCon that happens this weekend, and I'm definitely going to drop by there 1 or 2 days. I don't know what I'm going to do. Really, I can do anything I want to because it's within walking distance of my place. But Sunday is probably when I'm going to record me going around my... I hate it when my hair's not fluffy like this. There we go. I'm gonna do a walk around of my apartment, and I don't know why it's actually that big of a deal to record on. Anyways, I'll do the apartment tour. I don't think it'll be much different from last year. What would be different? I don't know. And did I not say what I'm doing on Pokemon? Because my goal has been to set up Ultra Sun so that it's... Usually Pokemon games fall into 2 categories. There's my main game, and then there's a bunch of satellite games. And what I'm choosing to do with the 7th gen, which is what I usually don't do, is setting up 2 main games. So my Moon is definitely a main game. It has all the utilities. It needs to do absolutely anything it wants. And I've trained up the vast majority of my utilities in Ultra Sun so that it can do things on its own as well. And I reached that point and was able to start breeding Pokemon to have a battle team so that I have a battle-worthy Pokemon in case somebody wants to battle me at IkiCon, which I'm not wanting to do, but I'm prepared to do. More like I guess I'm preparing for when I go back to work, and I guess I just have to make sure I can take down a Mega Alakazam, which I'm actually not sure if I know how to do. I've got some ideas in place. I'll figure it out. Worst case, yeah. Worst case, you know, I won't, but that's okay, because winning isn't everything. But it's really fun because I'm trying to also design Pokemon that I tended not to design before. So I don't want to go into too much detail about the Pokemon I have, you know, I don't want to give strategy away. But, you know, I tried to make sure, okay, they can all be bred. I don't have overlap in items. I don't have overlaps in Pokeballs. And they're all Ivy bred and EV trained. I just need to level them up. I got them all to level 50 at a minimum because that's like 1 or 2 paths through the Elite Four. But I made sure I've got all their items. So I've been getting pretty good at Mantine surfing, I guess. I don't know how I rate compared to other people, but like I don't have the Gyarados move yet, because in order to get that, I think I need to go to the Surfing Association, and when I do that, I need to pick up the Pikachu, and I want to make sure the Pikachu is the nature I want it to be. I'm also going to make sure if it has Ivies, that it has Ivies with what I want to, and I'm just going to make a weird gimmick Pikachu, but that's not as high of a priority. And my leveling up of my Festival Plaza slowed down because I figured out, based on some internet searches, how you can soft reset the building offered to you, I guess. And I really want to get a treasure hunt 5-star. I did it once before for experimental purposes, but I was getting so few 5-stars, so few lottery houses, that I accepted a 4-star treasure hunt because I'm going to get a handful of opportunities, maybe at least 10 more times to try to soft reset. And the chances go higher, I think, the higher my levels. So I'll be focusing on something like that. And really, it doesn't have to be in that game only, but really, my focus is on leveling Pokemon up. And like I said, I have a bunch of battle-ready Pokemon, but there's a couple that are going to be more battle-ready if I get them to 100 and can patch a couple of IVs. One of the Pokemon is the breedable Pokemon, because in order to get the right hidden power, you have to sacrifice some perfect IVs for a couple of fantastic ones. I'm surprised that breeding project only took a couple of hours, actually. Or maybe it was more like 4 hours. It was something ridiculously short for such a surgical breeding project. But yeah, it's all stuff. Need to get them to 100. I have plenty of bottle caps. Oh my god, I have so many bottle caps. I think I have something like 5 gold bottle caps and 34 normal bottle caps. So I'm loaded. I'm fine. I can do all the hyper training I want. I should just level those Pokemon up. What am I doing? I'm babbling so much. Hopefully y'all are doing better. Hopefully the weather isn't torturing y'all, and y'all have a nice week.